there, and thanks once again for tuning into the Explaining History YouTube channel. The thing I wanted to talk about right now is a little bit about the idea of memory in history and the commemoration of an event which is coming pretty soon. On the 27th of February 1917, the Russian Revolution began. Some might argue, actually, that it began significantly earlier than that, but as far as history textbooks go, it's the 27th of February, depending on which calendar you're using, of course. Now, there is in the run-up to 2014, the run-up to 2014, there were months, if not years, of thought that went into the commemoration of the outbreak of the First World War. Great Britain is still commemorating it year by year. There's still radio programs and TV programs that still commemorate it, and no doubt November next year will be another big occasion. But virtually nothing in mainstream Western discourse, mainstream Western media, has been said at all about the anniversary of an equally earth-shattering and fundamental historical event of the 20th century, the February Revolution, and later, I suspect, the October Revolution will be ignored as well. And it's being treated in a largely similar fashion in Russia. The official line of the Russian government is that whilst they accept the significance of the event in Russian history, revolutions really are an ill wind that blows nobody any good. Why? Well, I suppose if you are an authoritarian government of kleptocrats, you really don't want to be encouraging people to be thinking in revolutionary ways at all. Being as much of the world seems to be governed by kleptocratic regimes at the moment, and has only been vulnerable in the last year to waves of populist protest votes on the right, certainly encouraging any kind of progressive revolutionary commemoration is probably not on the agenda. So what we can learn from this is that historical memory has its uses and its abuses. It's easy to commemorate the First World War. It's easy to commemorate it and to mythologise it. One only needs to look at the nonsense that, say, for example, people like Michael Gove came out with at the time, saying this is a magnificent war for democracy. Well, the soldiers going over the top in 1914, 15, 16 and 17, maybe not so much in 1918 because of particular reasons, which I'll come on to in a moment. But those soldiers were not thinking about fighting for democracy. The general overall ideas that motivated them at first, other than by mid-war hatred of the enemy, were ideas of a struggle for civilization, that Germany was uncivilized and the British Empire was civilized, and therefore it must be fought to be protected. They weren't talking about democracy at all. 40% of the working class soldiers didn't have the vote, and no women did. So you weren't talking about a particularly democratic society. The First World War, its commemoration, laying of wreaths at the cenotaphs, have become part of the national ritualism and symbolism of Great Britain, of the British state, and of the class system in Great Britain. And so these are things that are kind of relatively comfortable to commemorate. Commemorating and remembering more challenging ideas, more challenging events, such as the Russian Revolution, or other moments where Britain's fortunes perhaps weren't as well advanced. Perhaps the granting of independence to India, or other moments in the decline of the British Empire. These things are not remembered in quite the same way. Why is this important to us as history students? Well, because the way in which things are remembered, both on a individual level and on a national, social, and cultural and political level, influence the way in which we talk about history and the way in which we study it. The official versions of histories that one gets in textbooks are shaped by this as well. Inevitably, they're written by human beings. They're written by human beings who exist within given structures of power and authority. I should know. I am a textbook writer and periodically have to do what the exam board tells me. The exam boards have to do what the government tells them, and the government are made up of politicians with their own agendas. So history is shaped, it is edited, it subtly serves goals of those who are in power and wish for us to think about the world in particular ways. And so when we are commemorating or not commemorating certain events, it's important to bear this in mind. Anyway, I hope you like that little rant, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.